Okay, this is going to be my thoughts on Warframe. So I'm gonna start this out just by saying I really do enjoy this game, but I would never say it's for everyone. Um, it is a completely free-to-play game. Um, you could potentially go through the entire game without spending a penny. Not even like for the game itself, kind of like League of Legends. But it's so incredibly difficult. Like even I've spent money, and I am one of the people that like refuse to spend money ever on games. So, well, when you first start, you have like the option of 3 frames, and then from there you can get them all potentially. Like if you can start trading and other things. The currency in the game are credits and platinum. Platinum is basically the real life money for the in game. Um, it's what you use to buy quite a few things. Platinum actually transfers over as really small amounts. Like usually when you put in money in a game, it's like, oh, you have like several thousand, but each individual item is pretty expensive. And this is like $5 is like 75 platinum. It's like it's not much at all. Um, it is on like both console, PC, and all that. I would definitely recommend anyone to like play it. But if you're just looking for a game to like just play on your free time, I would not recommend this one at all. Um, I it's like unless you want to be enveloped into the game, don't play this one. Like, yeah, you can get pretty in. Like that's the whole point of the game is like to keep playing it, to play it for insane amounts of time, to play it every single day. That's basically the point of it. But if you're just gonna play it like once every other day, once a week, it's nah. Like you can still be successful, but I wouldn't think it's all that good. It wouldn't be as good, especially like kind of like with Destiny. Like I think if it's focused more for like long-term players than short-term players, which I think is like the opposite of Destiny was before. Which I'm happy about the fact that it's focused towards long-term players because like I sort of am a long-term player. I haven't been playing it for that long, but I've played a lot. Um, so basically, a lot of the things that I like about it are just like the way that its map is set up, how you have to go through each individual planet like one at a time. You like start at Earth, go to Venus, then Mercury. Then from there, I think you go to Mars next. Yep. Then you go to Mars, and from there you can go to like Phobos and Ceres. From Ceres to Jupiter, then to Europa, from Jupiter to Void, and like you just go in basically like a giant circle. And then there are like a lot of other things too that you can do. Like I didn't purposely need to leave there. You can start your own clan and have a dojo, which you can build into a monstrous creation. They just started this new thing, what I really love, called like Cetus in the Plains of Eidolon, where it's basically a free roaming area, which is something that they've never actually like done before. Everything here is like a mission based thing with objectives, and there is like a raid somewhere in this game that I haven't actually done yet. Um, but then like the stories is really well, like the individual missions, all the missions that I've already completed. This thing keeps track of that. Like all of these quests, like there's only 2 that I don't even like have at all. I've completed all of these ones, and they're honestly like really well thought out, and they have a lot of like I don't know what to like call it. They have like a lot behind them, and like one of them involves what you are, how you're controlled, things like that, and then opens up this room where like I look like this, which this is called the Warframe Nidus, but this is what I actually look like. Like this is me right here. Um, these are just like specialty abilities. but that's actually me, and then he controls what I am currently. And because of that, you're capable of like swapping into all these different forms, which are what these are. It's just like what your warframes. It's like each one has 4 abilities and a passive. Like I'm Nidus, command the infestation to mutate and grow ever more destructive. Necros, Death's new master. Seirin. This is the prime of Seirin, which I'll get into primes in a moment. A golden blossom conceals deadly nectar, featuring altered mod polarities for greater customization. Rhino. The Rhino is the heaviest warframe, combining offensive and defensive capabilities. Like each one has their own individual things, and then like some are meant for tanks, like Frost right here. Frost Prime is what I currently have, but he is a lot more of a tank than damage dealer. Like, yeah, he can do damage, but his health and shield is really good. Each warframe does have, well, most of the warframes have a health, energy, shields, and that should be it, actually. Now, some are like shield tanks, some are health tanks, some are both. And then, like energy, you can, there are mods in the game that increase that, which is like really the big part of the game is mods. But like Inaros right here, rise from the sands, Inaros commands the desert's fearsome power. He has no shields at all. Like there is also armor too, which just does less damage to actual health, but not to shields, I believe. Like all he has is health, but his shields are literally 0. Like same with Nidus, has 0 shields, but he also has a lot of health. Frost has both. Most warframes do have both types, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna build in both areas. Like Rhino has both, and you want to build him like mostly tanky with a little bit of damage. As I was saying, like here, he is a combination of the both. But then there's like Rhino and Frost and Inaros are more tanks than anything else. But Nidus is like a really good crossbreed because he's slightly tanky but also high damage. Necros is, I don't really want to call him a damaging frame because he really doesn't do all that much damage. But at the same time, he's not a tank. I'd say he's just like a good middle point. Ember and Nyx and Seirin, they're all just damage frames. Like they are made to do damage, and you just want to build them that way. Loki is more of like just a support frame. He'll just be invisible all the time. Like each frame has like its own play style and its own capabilities, which is something that I really like. Which I even like have my own like made up versions, I guess. Which I like, same thing that I did with like League of Legends. And like some are damaged like Vault, and tank like Oberon, and then there's like supports, which is also Oberon, and where is she? Equinox is like half support, half damage. There's one that's like Trinity. There's Trinity and Titania. Trinity is a lot more of a support than like anyone else. And just they all have their own unique playstyles, and like you really can just pick one and then figure out what you want to do with them. But then what really make the game are upgrades, which is just mods. Like all of these will increase you in some way, shape, or form. There are so many different types of mods. There's like bronze, silver, and then gold are their like rarity. But there are so many mods. There are mods for your warframe, for your 3 different types of weapons, which is there's the primary weapon, secondary weapon, and then melee weapon. And then you can have a sentinel, or you can have a Kubro or Kavat or Helmuth Charger, which is just basically a pet. Now the sentinels you can't revive, but they're a lot. I would call them a lot more useful. But like when they die, they're dead unless you revive. But for the other actual pets, when they die, you can actually revive them. But they die a lot because they're actually like on the ground and enemies target them frequently. So that's why I say that like the sentinels are a lot better. Yeah, like a companion. Like these are all like mini other sentinels that you can get, but then there are like the pets, as I was saying. There are like emotes and gear, but like that's just like a side aspect. It is something that has a lot in it, but at the same time, it's not something that I need to talk a ton about. Like what I currently have, like this big weapon and then these little spikes. These are actually like part of Nidus's main kit. Like these things were released the same time that he was, and Nidus is my personal favorite frame. So, yeah. Though there is a lot of like things you have to buy, like even colors, all this stuff. But at the same time, it's really not that bad. And as I was saying, like you really don't need to spend anything on it. And you have access to like every single color anyway, just not all the different shades. I wouldn't say every single color actually. There's quite a few that's still missing. But then there are like skins and helmets and all this. Like Nidus is pretty newer, which is why he only has like one helmet, but still it's pretty cool. But and then like each one has, as I was saying before, each one has abilities. Which there's like your 4 abilities, and then here's a passive. And like each one, like this, like the energy, as I was saying before, the cost is lower than what it normally would be because of mods that I have on. And then this is where like other things come into play. So like as it says, max rank for a lot of my stuff. That's because level 30 is the highest level that you can get in the game. But enemies can go into the hundreds, making them very difficult to kill if you just have your base gear. Which is why you need to upgrade the heck out of everything. Like all this stuff that I have, like these are the slots that you're capable of holding. But then there are so many different things that you can do to like upgrade it even more. Which is like are these actions, which you can add all these like other things. I already added one of these to it. It's called in like Oricon Catalyst, and then there's an Oricon Reactor. But it's just, I don't really know how to say it. There's a lot of things that you can do to increase your own power, and including like upgrading mods. Like you see how this only gives a little bit, and these little marks, these lines. That's how many times of upgrading. That's how many times you can upgrade it. And like these are the ones that I've focused more on upgrading than others. But there are so many different types of each type of weapon and stuff too. Like, look at all of this. These are just all like just primary weapons. Some are shotguns, some are sniper rifles, some are laser guns. There's bows. There's many different types of weapons. Then there's the same with pistols and secondary. Some are also lasers. Some you could like shurikens type deal, throwing knives. There are like shotgun pistols basically. And like same with the melee as well. Like the list just goes on and on. There's some that are akimbo, some that aren't. This was like just added to the game. And they are always like adding new things, including the prime. So there are prime everything. There are prime sentinels. There aren't any prime Kubro. I wish there was, which is something I'm going to add. There are prime frames, which is what I was showing earlier. So I have Necros Prime, Seirin Prime, Frost Prime, which is basically just a better version of the previous one. I have Nidus. Nidus doesn't even have a prime released. There is a Loki, Ember, Rhino, and Nyx Prime, but they're kind of vaulted, I'm assuming. And like the vault is basically kind of like, think of like the Disney vault, where when something goes in, it ain't ever coming out, which is actually a bit of a problem that I don't like, which is something I'm going to say in the future. That when something is released, it is only released for a certain amount of time. So like if you join this game years later, and you really like Rhino, you're gonna actually need to like get in-game money through either trading or actually buying it yourself, and then figure out a way of buying like the Rhino Prime, which basically you'd probably have to just like buy off of another person or buy the parts to make one off of another person. I think you can potentially buy, just flat out buy it, but I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure about that. But then there's primes of like everything, like Excalibur Prime. That was like, if you see anyone with that, then they started playing this game since the moment it came out, because it was the first ever thing ever to become primed. It is the oldest frame, which like the cost of like actual in-game costs also lowers for how old they are. As you can see, like Mag and Vault is also very low cost, but they also all have their own primes. And like the newer they are, meaning the longer it's going to take for them to get a prime. Such as Nidus probably isn't going to get a prime for like several months to a year, which very much upsets me, because he is my favorite frame and all. But like Loki Prime, as you can see with his like little weird horns, they like come all the way over here. The entire design is quite different. Like Necros Prime looks incredible. Like I think I can actually show it. Yeah, I think I can go to appearance and click on skins. Like here's regular, say. This is, here's regular Seirin, and here's Seirin Prime. Like yeah, this one isn't always like the best, but as you can see, there are unique differences. Like there's the tentacle things. It's like bigger areas here. So, and they do look just like generally a lot cooler. Sticking with it's like Necros. Necros looks quite a bit different appearance. Necros. Like this is regular. Oh wait, well that actually still is Necros Prime's helmet. Oh, there. That was it fully. Come on. And helmet. Yeah, it's like this is regular Necros, but then we go to Necros Prime, and it is that. Like, as you can see, it's a lot cooler, and I love the primes in general. I think they are just a lot. Wait, no. I'm definitely not keeping it like that. And then I was saying before, you can like choose the colors and everything. Like everything I choose is always like red. But, and I was saying like the quests and everything are all really, really good. But, and then you can build, there are materials throughout the entire game, like salvage, morphix, polymorph bundles, neurods, nanospores, gallium, rubido. There are a ton of materials that are specific to planets. Like, now, you can get copies, like here, you can get rubido, dentate amples, ferrite. Now, there are other planets that you can get, like, the same things. This is, like, nothing but different stuff. But, yeah, and then, like, there's the materials or how you build things. So there's a thing, rubido. And then the materials do have different rarities, though. Like salvage is something that is very frequent, and because of that, you use more of it in stuff like this. But then like neurods, as you can see, only have like 3 because it's insanely rare. Same with like organ cells. Now salvage is very frequent; it's like everywhere. But I used all mine recently to build something. But like this is how you collect the prime pieces. And then you can build the actual one, all the individual things like this. There are a lot more in detail things like the keys. This is just like how you build every individual thing in the game. It's just like you get blueprints and then you build it. Now, this is one of the big gripes I have with the game, but I understand why they do it, is how long it takes to build everything. A warframe takes 3 full days, 72 hours to build. Now, that is so long, and I find it insane. Like, weapons can take 12 hours to 24 hours. It's insane just how long it just takes just to build things. The only thing that's in like the game that only takes like a minute are like those keys that I was talking about, but those aren't like really all that important or difficult to make, and it's really not anything that big or bad. It's just meh. So like those, it's completely understandable with those being a minute, but like warframes, I can see it being like 24 hours to 2 days. I really can. And I understand why they're doing it is because they want you to get money and spend it on platinum so that like they make money. I fully understand it. I think it's good that they're doing it, but at the same time, like, throw a bone, man. Like, God, it takes so long for everything to be constructed. And just, I was saying, like, I do understand it, and I think that they don't need to change it. They have no reason to change it, but at the same time, it'd be nice. Um, this is stuff that they actually like just recently added. As I was saying, like before, this place right here they just added, and this goes along with them. These ghouls were just added today. The Angus, Angst, and Malice are also just added today. They can just like give you mods. They're basically just like mini bosses. Here are all the quests, which, as I was saying before, they are all really thought out and good quests. These are just random things that you can do to get materials. Like this will give you credits, which is just the money. This gets you Argon Crystal, which is actually a very good substance. This will get you Endo, which is how you upgrade mods. Here, I'll go over to that real fast. It's just over here. This is all your mods in the entire game. You can pick for like your aura mods, your warframe, guns, melee, Arcwing. Which your Arcwing is just basically, do you want to fly in space without your spaceship? Yes, then you need an Arcwing. That's really all that is. Nothing all that big. Companion, I was saying, is like your Kubro and all that. Then here's the Sentinel. There's like option duplicates, and then these are just like really big mods. They're called Riven mods. They're definitely very, I'd say they're pretty important. Yeah, like these you can actually like recycle for Kuvo, which is like just a material in the game that's sort of rare. But like this is where you upgrade mods, and you need the resource of Endo, which is this right here, to do it, and credits. So that's the only really reason you want Endo, is just to upgrade mods, which you can run out Endo really fast. And they can also get you like random things like skins for stuff, including your Warframe that you can build. Now this is how you just like, you can get random materials from this, from participating in these events. You have to do each one 3 times though, and you're like allying yourself with a group for a small amount of time. There are clans basically. Beside, like, you are capable of making your actual dojo and your clan, but this are like groups that have, I want to say, goals that you can work for and do missions for, just to like gain influence is what it's called, and then from there you can just get all their stuff. Like this will cost 25 influence, and they augment like your warframes, and then there's stuff like this. You can actually get weapons and other things like that. And then like each group has like their own ones, and then to go up like their titles, which these are their titles, is you have to like do stuff for them and then offer them things. So you can see it's a pretty big offering to get to Exalted, which I have all the influence for. I need the offerings to do it. And then like each group has their own thing, which, so those missions right there, That's what they help out with. Like these the only thing they do is just help out who you're aligned with. And then this is how you get prime gear. These they're called relics. And relics are way over here. It is this, which these are all just different relics which you can use, and then you break them open, and then you have a chance of getting one of these. Like this is your chances right here. As you can see, like the chances of getting this is much less than the chances of getting that. And like you can upgrade them, which is like what this is right here, by using refinement. And these are like called void traces, and then bam, you now have so you can see a higher chance of getting a Valkyrie Prime systems. Like it's so right down here, and now it's like midway, and it lowers the chances of getting one of those the other things too. And this is how you just get like parts to weapons, to like your sentinels, which is what this is, and the only thing it doesn't give is mods. Now there are also primed mods. Those I know I was saying that earlier. Like here, primed heavy trauma, which is basically the exact same mod you have already, but just better. Like as like heavy trauma right there. This is basically the exact same thing, but this can only level 5 times when this can level like 9 times. I think it is. Might be 10. It's 10 times. Yeah. This can level 10 times and this can only level 5. Now, once you level this 5 times and you level this 5 times, there's no difference from them at all. They do the exact same thing, and that's about it. But once you get this to 6 times, now it's better than that one. So you really don't need a regular heavy trauma after getting the primed version. I'm just keeping them just for like the lower level things, because they gain like more capacity from gaining levels. Like this was only like, this should only be 30. You only gain 1 capacity for every level you go up. And but because it's 60 because of the actions I did, like this automatically doubles it. And then like this gains polarities, which is what this is. You see how this is like green? It's because this right here is a polarity. Madura, Vazarin, and then Narman. All of those are polarities that you can put on your gear, and then that'll lower the cost. Like this split chamber actually costs like 16 probably, but it's lowered down to 8 because it has the same polarity. Okay, now with things that I wish that they did a wee bit more of, and things that I hope that they do in the future. One, I want a planes on like every planet. Earth right now is the only place that have planes of Eidolon and Cetus. I want a plains of Eidolon on Venus. I want them to like add an area right over here and be like the plains of Vedalon, something like that, and then have a little relay, which these are called these are called relays. This one's destroyed, but and then like that's what Cetus is over here. It's like the symbol of a relay, but it's not actually one. Like here's another relay, and like if this would look just like that one, but this one's a bit more gold, and it's a place in the actual on Earth. And I'd wish they did the same thing like here and every single planet that is like around here. The only place I don't want them to do that is like Kuva Fortress, because it's actually an enemy base that you are capable of just attacking. Or the Void, because the Void has no solid ground. It's just like something that exists. So that's another place that I don't want them to do it. Or the Derelict, because it's another place that like doesn't actually have a specific location that you would be able to stay in. So yeah, but like all the other planets, I wish they actually had something that you could like stand and roam in, such as the plains of Eidolon. That's just something that I wish they could do in the future, and then they'd advance upon this and have, oh, the ghouls, ghoul purging on the plains of Eidolon. You also can ghoul purge on Jupiter. You can metamorphosis purge on Ceres. Metamorphosis is something I just came up with right now. I don't actually know if that's anything in the game, but I was just coming up with something that could be like the infested or something. Oh, and that's how you see that thing that came up right there. That was an alert. It's telling me that that was this one right here. This is called the sortie, which is something they already complete. It gives you something every single time. Like, though, this is the rarities of what it can give you. It goes bronze, silver, gold, and then the purple is just like a legendary. A legendary core is something that just levels up a mod instantly. I've never actually had one before, but goodness would I love to have one. It's also like one of the 2 ways you can get a Riven mod. You can also get a Riven mod through alerts, but it's very, very rare. But you just need to complete 3 missions, which, as you can see, are very difficult. Level 50 to 60, 65 to 80, 80 to 100. They're all very difficult missions that doing just gets you can get you something really good or something really bad, like what I got, which is the sculpture. That's just something you can sell for endo. It's not something good at all. But that's what I wish that they do, is like put a solid ground on each of these places. I would love that. 2, I did wish that they figured out some way of making things like not take as long to make. Like, oh my goodness, like in the dojo, you're capable of making specific weapons and gear and warframes that you can only get by contributing materials in the dojo. And but that's just how to get like an imprint of it. You don't even get the actual thing itself. You just get the capability of making it. Like in here. Like, this is called the Hema. 5,000 mutagen samples, which this is the weapon that I have. I needed to get this weapon off of someone else. I joined a random clan, got this weapon, and then left the clan just so I could get the weapon. Because 5,000, I have like a couple hundred of these. It would take me months to get to 5,000. And, like, these are all the different things that you're capable of making in this area. As you can see, like, this is only, like, 65. Here's 30. But, like, 5,000 is just an insane amount. But not even that. It takes 72 hours just to make it. Like, this has 7 hours left because we started it 2 days and a half ago. Or I'm not going to go to that one. Here, this one shows pretty well. Each one of these took us, like, if it shows this mark, that means we made it. It took us 3 days to build. And I find it kind of insane of just how long it takes to do these things. Like, and like, this is how you do it. You contribute an amount. You start the product. Like here, I'd say start project. And then from there, here, I might as well just click it. But from there, it doesn't actually do anything. Now you need to click on it and contribute. And then you put in all these materials just to get the blueprint. And then from there, you need to do this. You need to spend 15,000 just to replicate it. And then from there, you still need to use all of this just to make it, which a forma is a very rare material, which is why I only have 5. A forma, you need to use very rare materials just to make it, and then from making it, you need to actually use to do what I was talking about earlier, which is like you can put it on warframes or weapons, and that changes the polarities, or you actually have to use it to build some weapons. And it's just like the same with over here. Like, all of these will take 3 hours to, like, research. So it's just kind of insane just how long things can take. Which I don't want to be like, oh, okay, it's the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, like, 3 days is a long time. So I wish that they, like, figured out some way of doing this. I don't know how the heck to change the color of the overall place. I don't know. But like this is the dojo. There's a lot more like rooms and hallways that we have that you can place decorations. Here's this place like called like the Hall of Honor or something. So there are like a lot of different things you can do with the dojo, and you can have like a clan, and you can decorate the heck out of these places, which I plan on doing at some point in the future once I have more materials. But then yeah, and then you have all these other chambers where you can build things in, but as I was saying, that takes forever. And like building these things in the first place also take a forma. Like building a room takes a forma. And just yeah. It's just a wee bit annoying how long things take to build. Now, I do love like mods and weapons. I like the fact that mods really make the game what it is.
Operator, do you understand?
What?
This Limbo is telling
Oh,
us his story in
cool.
pure math. And I must say, he's quite witty.
Hmm.
You have to force
Like
that
that's
into
talking about a
existence.
message.
I must know.
Like my quest right now is the Limbo theorem, which is what he's talking about. That's Orbis, which is basically your ship's AI system. You get the ship on like the first mission, and then every mission after that, you're upgrading it. Like you install the mod thing, you install this, you install the Kubro stuff, and then there's this room over here. This room, as you can see with all this, I am Nidus. Nidus is the person that unlocks this room. This is something that I wish they added upon. This is something that I wish they added upon a lot. That's Helmuth. As you can see, he says, like, feed me. I am his master. Nidus is. But, like, this red thing on my neck, it's like the red cyst. As you can see, you can cure it. But that is the only thing that this room can do. Nidus is capable of spreading these cysts by just having one. After I cure it, I'd get the option again to like jab myself again, and then I'd create the cyst. So there's really no reason for me to cure it anyway, if I would just recreate it. But that's what I really hate is that's the only thing you can do in this entire room. Like there's the fish, there's all this botanical stuff and like infected stuff everywhere, but there's nothing you can do. You can also turn into like the little guys by hitting 5, which I'm about to do to show you something. While you're in your ship, you can do this. You can also do this in missions too, but there I am. Light shines within this demon. They consider like what I am right now, a demon. Or at least Helmuth does. But like I wish that you could sit in this thing as like the operator, which is what I'm right now. This is operator form, which as I was saying is like considered to be a demon. I wish I could lay down in this thing because this is actually the medical bay. So I wish that I could lay down in this as the operator and it would change me. Like this is where the operator stays. There's nothing really in here. But I wish you would like add one of these. There are like these different things you can increase your power in, which I don't really have anything in at all. But this one is basically you shoot a giant laser beam. And then they also give you like passive things too. But they're definitely gonna like, add things in like these slots. That's without a doubt. But I don't really look back here all that often. I wish that like created its own area of like the Helmuth, where that gave its own passives and thing like that. I wish that right here they added like this is where you upgraded your arc wings. Like they got in a little option where you could hit X and talk to. Like what you have to do is go over here, hit X, and then like arc wings, select a mode, arc wing, bam. Like that's how you check your arc wing and equip and dequip all the stuff in it. I don't like that at all. And I wish that it just like had its own area behind. Oh, by the way, the conclave, which you can also talk to this thing right over here, is PvP. but I don't really go into Conch Lake ever. This just gives you news. This is how you buy things. You can buy literally anything from like warframe, weapons, equipment, companions, to platinum. This is the Prime Vault. It's basically you spend a whole lot of money to get a whole lot of things. Honestly, it's not that bad. This just gives you random information. But then like yeah, I wish that you could upgrade the arc wings right here, and I wish there was more you could do in this. Like I wish that one you could do, as I was saying before, you could lay the little guy in here, the operator in this bed, and then it would actually evolve him basically. I wish that two, you could take any warframe and bring him in here. Now, you can cure the cyst on literally any warframe, but the cyst has to be fully grown when you cure it. I forget who else has one. I think Loki does. Yep, Loki has one. But like you see, his is like in this little form, and because of it, the door won't open. If this was in full form, this door would open. I'd be able to walk over to that chair, and then it would say cure cyst. But Nidus is the only warframe that can walk in there. Do you have one? Nah, it's a little baby one. Oh, she is the full-grown one, so I can show it with her. Here's next. As you can see, the door is opening because it's full-grown. You can see because that little like string is sticking out of it. You can walk over to this, and then you sit down and you get stabbed. And that's basically how it cures the cyst. And jab. We will consume master if you wish. Wish it. And then you can leave, but watch. I leave, and now I can't go back in because I don't have assist anymore. And then Helmuth always says, why do you reject my beauty? Because like the cysts are his creation. But Nidus, he can walk in as whenever, as I was saying. But I wish that any warframe, after you get Nidus and you unlock the door in the first place, that any warframe would be able to walk over to this. Now, I'm not going to cure the cyst just because I want to keep it on Nidus, because that's the only way you can make the pet the Helmuth Charger. I guess I can show you that real fast. I guess this is also like an informational video. Like this, I could create a new Cooper breeding, and then I could like empty. Oh, maybe I can't. Well, I already have one. Like this Shiva, this pet. This is a Helmuth Charger. Now the weapon on my back is called the Hema, which is like another thing, and then this guy is actually like Helmuth. The guy that usually talks whenever I enter this room, his name is Helmuth. And he's like all the infected, like the collected hive mind of the infected, basically, which is an enemy type in the game. And like Nidus is like the first infected warframe, basically. I don't know much of his lore. I haven't done his quest yet. I just bought him because I really liked him. But then, like, as I was saying, the only thing you can do is cure assist. I wish that any warframe, after you get Nidus, can walk in here and like do some sort of upgrade or something like that by like going up to this thing. I wish that like it would put the cyst on them, or oh no, only after you get Nidus and you unlock, then the cyst, you can come into this room and you can implant the cyst into any warframe, and not just Nidus. Nidus is the only one that can start the cyst infection. And then after the cyst is fully grown, you can like sacrifice it. But like you come over here, instead of saying cure cyst, it's like sacrifice cyst or something like that. And it actually like changes you in some sort of way. Yeah. And then because of that, like it just evolves you. And then I also wish that you could start some sort of like garden type thing. Like you see how there's all these weird plants and there's all these things on the wall that look like basically lettuce. I wish that you could like start your own weird, like this could be a normal garden, and then on this half it's like a major infected garden that all the plants that you put over here become infected, and all the plants that you put over here like just stay normal. And then from this you can like grab the plants, bring them over to this, and then you can use the plants to either one mess with your warframe, or you can mess with the operator. Like you can put them in here, and then you can have the operator lay down, and then it will fuse like the plants into the operator, which can do something. I'm not entirely sure what all the things it could do. Same with like this, like it would give you some sort of buff. I was saying for sacrificing the cis, but like you put materials in it and then you sacrifice the cis, and it causes the buff to be even stronger than it was before. Or and then like same with like the operator, like you can get your own helmet tree, as I was saying, because there's like all the different trees that already exist. There's like 5, and then like it'll gain his own like helmet will be right here, and then bam, you can now like, and if certain upgrades will only be attainable through plants or something like that. Now this door over here is actually something that they just added again today. There's a little thing that I started building, and this I'm very glad that they did, because I hate the fact that that door was just like there for a while. The personal quarters. That's just like your own personal quarters where you can put things down. You can decorate it however you want, and I am 100% for it. I think that they did a great job with it. Now, I guarantee there will be a whole lot of microtransactions in it, but you know what? I'm fine with that. I wish that they looked at a little bit when it comes to some people's abilities, such as Rhino. I hate Rhino. I hate Rhino's passive with a passion. Emit a shockwave after landing from a great height. It is the worst thing in the world. Like, you literally, it is a mod. Like, you can put this mod on any warframe you own, and it'll do the exact same thing, no different. Like, I don't remember fully what the mod is. But like one of these mods is after you fall from a great height, upon landing, you emit like a shockwave or something like that. I really don't remember what one it is, but I remember like when I first started this game, it was one of my like favorite things to use, just because I liked the sound effect that it made when you landed. It would like make this giant slamming thing. Yeah, I have no idea what one it was, so I'm not gonna keep looking forever. But like I hate it, and I wish that they like would do like mini reworks basically, where they no, that's not what I'm trying to. Where they like change this to something like after running for a long amount of time, his next melee does bonus damage, something like that. Now, I'm pretty sure that's like vaults. Like Nidus, I don't really have anything change. Now there are mods that you can put on specific warframe that are augments, like Loki has an augment that like one of his abilities is he can switch teleport, where he swaps places with another person. If he swaps places with another warframe, they become invulnerable for a certain amount of time. Able to hang from walls for extended durations of time. Like things like that. Like I see where some of them can be useful, but Rhinos is completely useless. I never ever use it. Nidus's is 110% necessary. And it's mostly like passives more than anything else that I just think they're not really all that. Like, I remember this one is like you can go insane from enemies affected by Nyx's abilities may suddenly choose to lay down their arms. Something like that. Like, that one I can sort of see. Like, Frost is that if someone hits him, then they could have a chance of being frozen. While bleeding out, an arse becomes entombed in a protective... this one I actually really like for him. I don't think it really does enough damage, but... what are you? And there's just like a random... Regenerates energy and deals more damage while on fire. Like, that one I understand. And like a few of these I really do get. I fully understand why. But then like ones that like Lokis and Rhinos... it's not. It's really not. Besides, like, how long things last and how I wish that they did more with the helmet room. I also wish that they would let sentinels and kubros be on you at the same time. Like I wish your companion was you can pick tax on and you can also have your other pet at the exact same time. I think it's stupid of the fact that you can only have one out. Like they don't even take up like the same slot basically. Like yeah, I understand they take up the same slot in the arsenal, which is what this is called, but they could definitely be separated into two separate slots and still do like what they're supposed to do. Like even if they made it something that you have to buy by platinum, I'd still be happy because at least like then it would still exist and people would still be able to like I'd be able to buy it. Like right now I have some platinum. There's also this was like this is your master rank right here. I failed my master rank up, so I have to wait a full day. Yeah, I messed up. But besides that, I don't have any major gripes. As I was saying, like one, I wish that they did like a planes on every planet. I think that that's a really good idea. Or that would be a really good idea. Both with you'd be able to have a Sentinel and a Kubro at the exact same time would definitely be something that I would love to do. I wish they did more with the Helmuth room. I really hate what they did with this. I also wish, like, as we're saying with the Arcwing thing, I wish that would be right here. I also wish that the Arcwings worked in a completely different way. Like, the Arcwings are their own warframe. Like, these have their own separate abilities and all, and I'm just like, no. Why? Why can't it be, like, similar to my... Why can't this just be something I use to fly with? Or something like that. Or... give me like a full bodysuit or something if you're gonna do that. I don't like the fact that they're their own warframe, but I can understand it. I guess I think it's not the worst thing in the world, but still. But then like these right here, I hate that what they did with this. Originally, you could just like put something on your person, and then you could collect focus in missions. But now it still works pretty similar, and I'm happier how you collect focus now, because now you just, like, you get these lenses and you put it on your items and stuff like that, and it just gives you focus, basically. But, they got rid of all the progress I made before. Like, I talked to a friend that, like, no-lifes this game, and he had this entire tree, like, filled out. Now, that doesn't take a small amount of time because you can level up each of these like all these times, and he said like he was like almost done, and then they got rid of all of it. Like every single tree now is at 0. Like oh wait, am I a liar? I think I'm a liar. I'm a little bit of a liar. I didn't want this. I wanted this. Okay, so they did not get rid of, like, this number right here is how much I have. I need to unlock this one. Like, this is the one that I used to have. Did that just... Okay, good. That's still... So, like... Okay. Now I'm still pretty happy. They didn't delete everything I see. I still have some of the points I gained before. I'm happy. So, never mind. I know my quorum with this is definitely nowhere near what it was before. Yeah, because originally I thought that they just wiped out everything, but now I see that they did not. So I am still happy with the way that that works. And I was saying before, like, these slots are definitely going to become something. I wish they would come something faster, though. But I guess if they just released everything at once, it would get boring a lot faster. But still, like, this game is so grindy, and the fact, like, that's why I really hate how long stuff takes to build, is because to get the mods and the parts and everything takes an insane amount of time, and then for it to take even more time is just really, really stupid. So long story short, I like that what they've done with this. Originally I had problems with it, but not anymore. I wish that they'd put a bit more in this room, but I guess it's fine. I like what they've done with this room that I can't fully show yet. I like how this room I can finally get into, being Nidus, because originally I couldn't understand for the longest time how to get in here. But I wish that they put more in it, such as planting and actually being able to use that chair and like the medical thing on the back. I wish that their time frames would be less. I wish that you can use the Taxon and the Kubro at the exact same time. I wish that over here they put something like the Arcwing thing. I wish that they had something here like that. I don't really know what, but I wish that it was there. Like, this shows you all your relics. So I don't know what they're going to put on the other side, but I want something to be there, gosh darn it, just because of symmetry. I'm fine with mods. I love the way they work mods. I think both the Riven mods and everything is completely fine, except for I wish that Riven mods you could get more frequently besides just the sortie and random ass alerts. I love that they added both of these things. Like, wasn't even planning on talking about these until like today, because that's when they came out. I think that they are great additions. Same with this. I think that they should add like a planes to basically everywhere. And I wouldn't mind like more raids. Like, apparently there's only like one raid in that I haven't even done in the first place, so I can't fully complain, but like still, I wish that there was like more raids. Like, this is a complete... I also wish that this is, like, a completely Grenier place, and this is basically a completely infested area. Where's the completely Corpus area, is what I want to know. There should be, like, a area that's the completely Corpus. Those are the 3 types of enemies, by the way. Well, there technically is a 4th, but still. And I'm fine with the way that they work, this. Clans. I love the way that it works with that. I'm fine with this over here, like your groups. I like the fact that it tells you like news, but I wish that there was something here for symmetry's sake. I don't mess with the conclave at all, but as I was saying, it's just player versus player. I like the market system and how you can like this keep track of all your progress. Now, the very final thing that I'm going to be talking about is basically my own designs for things. I don't really have my own design for weapons. Now, usually I come up with something. Oh, in Cetus, the place that's on Earth now, like the place that you can wander, that's right next to the plains of Eidolon, you are capable of making your own weapon. But you can only make your own Zaw, which is basically just a melee weapon. I wish that they expanded that a lot more, where you can make your own primary, secondary, and melee, and then it could be more than just a Zaw. That it can be like an axe or a hammer, or like you can make them really complicated. I wish they advanced upon that 20 times more than what they are right now. Right now they have like one little thing, and that's it. There's also mining and fishing in Zaw, which I really enjoyed doing, that are in past videos and streams, but yeah. So as I was saying, though, I wish that you really could like advance with that. Now, there is one thing that I came up with, such as a prime Kubro. Now, I'm not entirely sure how you do it, but like you'd do this, but then you'd put in something in here like a prime Kubro egg, and it would give you a Cerberus Kubro, a 3-headed Kubro. I wish they did that. Or like an Oberus, where it has 2 heads and then a snake for a tail. Now, I was saying before, I don't really have any weapons. I think that they do a really good job, especially like how things look. Oh my god, like look at this. Look at this. You can't tell me this is one of the best things you've ever seen in your life. Like, here's a prime weapon. Oh. And the fact that you can like choose their colors and everything. Oh my lord, they all just look so good. But I have come up with warframes. I've only come up with 3, and I haven't fully finished really any of them. First one's first is I've want one that's like basically a century. One that you throw down turrets and then those actually shoot things. Like think of Heimerdinger from League of Legends. His like passive will be like the more machines around him, like warframes included, but the more players and machines that are around him, the more like I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. The more like a bonus he gets from what I'm not entirely sure that myself. Maybe like every time he picks up health or energy, he picks up more health or energy. Um, his weapons get like a small reload speed, things like that. Just like something little, really little that like the more people there are with him, including his sentries, the better he is. Um, his first ability, like that would be his passive. His first ability would be what would it be? It would be him throwing down a sentry gun. I don't know why it was taking me so long to think of. He'd throw down a little sentry gun, and then that would just shoot people. And the sentry gun, like the longer it lives, the stronger it would get, basically. Like it would have like stages of the sentry gun, and then there would be ways that he'd be able to increase the stage, but it would be able to just slowly increase on its own. Oh, no. I finally remember what his actual passive would be. What I said before was a little misconstrued. After like a time period, he'd have like a small time period between his abilities. Well, not between his abilities, that he would just slowly gain. Once it maxed out, the next ability he would use would be empowered in some sort of way. Whatever the ability he'd use. If he throws down a sentry, then the sentry would be maxed. It would already be at stage 3. It would have 3 stages. The first one just shoot. The second one would have a bigger range and shoot lasers. And the third one would have the largest range, and it would also shoot rockets plus its regular lasers. And that would automatically be in its third stage. His second ability would be in like an overcharged drone. So he'd throw out a little drone like Corpus Tech, and it would shield. No. It would not shield allies around him, but it would shoot like a little laser thing that's like the shield animation in this game, and that will overcharge your allies, giving them faster reload speed, faster movement speed, faster attack speed, and things like that. And that's all it would really do. But it would also be able to affect your sentry guns and yourself at the exact same time. But if you throw that version out while it's empowered with your passive, then it would also give a shield. So yeah, then it would actually give like the shield plus the empowerment. Your third ability is going to be upgrade, which that you like throw on us. You can either throw on a person or a sentry. If you throw it on like a sentry, it'll just level it up one time automatically. Like if it's at stage 1, it'll be at stage 2. If it's stage 2, it'll go to stage 3. If it's on stage 3, then it'll go to stage 4, which the only way for it to go to stage 4 is by an upgrade, and on stage 4, it just becomes like bonus range and damage. If you throw it on like another person, then it's sort of like the W, but better because it will give them like just a bonus overall with like everything they do. It'd give them bonus health, bonus shield, bonus damage. It would just be something that you throw on someone, and only one person can have it at a time. You'd be able to throw it on your shield drone, and that would basically... I don't really know how I want to put that one. It would basically just increase its efficiency. It would give it like a bigger range, and like the base things it would be in all areas would be bigger. Like the shield it would give out, or not the shield. Well, yeah, the shield it would give out when it's empowered would be bigger, things like that. If your E is already, like, if it's your empowered E, that's the one that I'm a little hazy on, where I haven't fully finished it, is because I don't really know what it would do when it's empowered, because it's already upgrading other people. or other, or yeah, whatever you're using it on. So then I think in that case, we'd really just need to like turn it into like it would do all the upgrades that I just said, plus it would give a very specific thing. Like maybe on if you throw it on a warframe, it would turn them into like their own mini sentry gun. Like they'd grow a turret on their back or something like that. Plus, it would give them all their buffs. Um, if you give it to like your turrets already, then it would like turn into a double turret or something like that. That could be what it is. Like it turns into an ultra turret. And then your alt is another thing that's like the Corpus tech is you'd place down a little teleporting thing. There are little rollers, which is something that only Corpus have, that roll around and then zap you from just being near them basically. And you can shoot them and all, but they have like their own little spawn points. And then from there they just spawn and spawn and spawn and then hunt you down. Basically that's what your alt would be. You'd like pick a point and then you'd throw down a little spawner, and then you'd be able to have a max of 3 spawners out, and like each one would just like keep spawning and spawning, and then each spawner would be able to have 10 out. You'd also only be able to have 3 turrets out at the same time too, like your first ability. And then that when it's ultra powered is the like the zappers, that the little rollers that it creates will have bonus HP and bonus damage. Yeah, if you throw your E on like the rollers, it also does like the same things, and then maybe it'll turn them into a sentry gun too if it's empowered. Then the other ones are sort of more concepts than anything else. Like how do I put this? There's one that I want them to be like a guardian basically. Kind of like how the Tenno is another being inside of you. I want the Warframe to have a being inside of him other than the Tenno, and that being like protects him, and it's basically just like something that's constantly inside of him, and that's what all of his abilities are. There's a game where there's like this girl's brother died basically when they were children, but like his spirit stayed connected to her the entire time. I can't think of the name of the game. And then like that's just how it happened, and then he would like always protect her, and then the entire game they were like trying to figure out how she has this power, but really the power was another being, which was her brother. And they considered her like really dangerous and all this other stuff because of that. And that basically would be how this Warframe is you'd be able to like his passive would be something like knockback, which is like if an enemy gets in close proximity to you, then it would knock them down. Like the first ability would be something like you'd be able to control it, and then it could like go through not really walls, but more like go through enemies. You basically like turn into like whatever the being is protecting you, and then you'd be able to like travel undetected, sort of like a ghost. And then that's really all I have. I was gonna have like his other ability is like he actually like spawns and then just starts punching everything around you, sort of. But I don't really know how I was gonna have it. But I just wanted something that like is a guardian over you. And then the other one is like a spirit, also sort of like that one is you'd have like 4 different forms. The Warframe would actually like change depending on what form you're in. Kind of like a Vera's first ability where she can have like 4 different types of arrows. But his first ability would be like just like a skill shot, and then his second ability is he'd be able to choose what form he or what spirit he wanted. And then like the whatever spirit he has, it would affect his first ability, his third ability, and his alt. And then his passive was just like something on its own. Like every time you change like your spirit, you'll get like a movement speed buff or something like that. Just like a little thing like that. But like I would wanted one spirit to affect armor, one spirit to affect shield, one spirit to affect health, and the last one I don't really know what I want it to affect. I would say energy, but the only one that have energy are Tenno and Warframes, so that can't really affect enemies. So I wouldn't know what I want the last spirit to have, but like I was gonna have the one spirit like just knock out a person's health, the other spirit just lower someone's armor, or one spirit to knock out a person's shield, lower spirit's armor, and then the last one to be like cause a bleeding effect on whatever enemy you hit with it. Something like that. Maybe the last one can just be like some sort of CC, like it can be like an ice spirit and freeze them, something like that. And that's really all the concepts that I have for them. And that's like their abilities and everything. And yeah. Oh, I one more thing. I know I just kind of threw a lot of information and all. Is I wish that abilities leveled up based on you using them. Each ability has 3 ranks. Upon just leveling up your warframe, which as I said has like 30 levels, once you get to level 10, that's when you unlock your alt. Like I'm fine with that, but once you get to like level 12, then your first ability gets to level 2 or something like that. I don't actually know what ability gets to what level, but I wish that like your first ability got to level 2 upon you using your first ability enough times for it to get to level 2. I wish that's like your abilities leveled up from you using them, and I wish that they got to higher levels than just 3. And that's the only thing I really wish that. Like, my friend said that he definitely does not want that in any way, shape, or form. But you know what? I don't care. I wish that that's how they leveled. I think that that would be pretty useful. But, there you go. That's, energy refund hit actually got lowered. Anything blue, by the way, I'm pretty sure can't change. But, yeah, that's just what I wish everything could be. Oh, and there are a heck ton of appearance options. But yeah, I would recommend Warframe to anyone. If you just want to be a casual gamer and not really play in-depthly, I would not play it. Or if you're going to play it, just like don't get too attached to it. If you really want to like join a community and play a game a whole lot, then yeah, Warframe is for you. Go ahead, pick it up, start playing it now. But it will take a whole lot of time to get where you need to be. But if you have a whole lot of time, then there you go. So thank you very much for listening to this My Thoughts. If you like anything I said, please leave a comment. Tell me if you agree with it, disagree with something. If you happen to know, as I like saying this, if you happen to know anyone from Warframe or anything like that, please contact them. Maybe tell them, hey, this guy's repping your game. You could potentially like use his ideas, talk to him. Maybe you could come up with something, or potentially they could like sponsor me or something like that. But I wouldn't really be able to do that yet because Twitch and YouTube I'm not affiliated with yet. But those would all be great things. I'd be very grateful if anyone did that. Please like leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you really enjoyed it. If you like my content. I enjoy posting my thoughts and things like that. I plan on like posting more, but I always plan on posting like my Twitch stuff. But in the future, I plan on posting the actual Twitch stream and then also posting like a highlights at the same time. A bit redundant, but at the same time, I don't care. If you enjoyed anything that I've said about Warframe, then go play it, check it out. Maybe find me and friend me, join our clan if you really want to. But thank you and have a nice day.